It's annoying, but it's a bot, and it cannot go on any longer. Hang it up, flat screen. I would have dragged you regardless. Hello, you guys. It is February, which means it is Black History Month, and it is also the month of Valentine's Day. When I'm filming this right now, it's the beginning of the month. When you guys are seeing this, it's the end of the month. So in this video, I decided to focus on 6 romance books written by Black authors. It's only right. It's only right. I've been wanting to read these books. One of them, I'm not sure if it's a romance, but it's written about a Black person. It's about a Black girl. We might as well get it in this video. So I have 6 of them. I'm going to tell you the order in which we're going to read them, and then we'll get into the vlog. Okay, so the first book that we are going to read for this video is The Boyfriend Project by Farah. This book I am very excited to read. It's been sitting on my bookshelf for a little minute now. As you can see, I've already began it and I'm already almost done. So the next clip will be me telling you how I feel about this book. But yeah, this is the first book we'll be reading for this video. The second book we will be reading for this video is Make a Scene by Mimi Grace. I have not heard a lot of people talk about this book. Honestly, I know on BookTube, maybe I've seen like 2 or 3 people talk about this book. So I want to read this book. I want to see how this book is. And so as you can also see, I have already started this book. This is the second book I will be talking about in this vlog. So the thing about me is I read multiple books at the same time. Like at any time I could be reading like 4 books at a time. I don't know. The next book that we are going to be reading for this video is Charming as a Verb by Felipe. Gorgeous, gorgeous cover. Looking forward to this. Been sitting on my bookshelf for maybe a year, maybe half the year. I don't remember. But it's been sitting on my bookshelf for a while. It is young adult, I believe. I believe it is young adult. I don't know. We'll get into it and we'll see what it really is. The book that we are going to be reading after that is Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry by Joya Goffney. Gorgeous cover as well. The thing is, this book, when it was an ARC, to me, had a better cover than this. And so I wanted the ARC cover so bad, but you know, you do what you do. We're going to be reading this next. Then we are going to read Sweet Hand by Nj Pelter. This book's still thick. We're going to read this book. Another book I just haven't heard many people discuss. And then lastly, we're going to be reading a book that was a book of the month book, How to Marry Keanu Reeves in 90 Days by K.M. Jackson. I'm excited to get into this one. I've seen a lot of people show this through Book of the Month, but I haven't seen a lot of people read it. So let's see what this book is going to be about. And so, see you in the vlog. Okay, let's discuss The Boyfriend Project. Okay, so this book is dual POVs. So this book is dual POV for no reason, by the way. This book follows a guy named Daniel and a girl named Samaya. And basically they both are working at this tech company, and it's like an office romance types thing. So basically the girl Samaya becomes like goes viral because she breaks up with her like boyfriend like in a very like interesting way. So basically he was like 3-timing her, and all of them show up to the same restaurant and like break up with him at the same time, and like the clip goes viral. So these 3 girls who was dating one guy, they become friends, and they decide that they're not gonna date boys until like they get their life together, the Boyfriend Project. And so basically she's like, I shouldn't date anyone. But then Daniel starts working at her tech company, and like they start to fall for each other. Daniel has a secret. The secret you find out, it's not really a secret. This is not a mystery. Daniel doesn't really work for this tech company. Daniel works for the FBI, and he's trying to figure out who's been funneling money from this tech company. Like there's clearly a money laundering scheme going on, and he's trying to get to the root of it. So he doesn't really work for the company, but he has not told Samaya that because he's undercover. This book is dual POV for no reason. I actually think it would be very interesting for a good 3rd act conflict, because we know what the 3rd act conflict is going to be. She's going to find out he's been lying the whole time about his job. it will be interesting if the third act conflict, we didn't know. We didn't know that the thing that was going to happen is that he doesn't really work for this company. If they just drop little hints of like the stuff, the little hints that Samaya is getting, if we as the reader were oblivious to, and then all of a sudden it came out that he was lying about his job, that would be more interesting. But I know why they're doing it, because it'd be hard to redeem him in such a short period of time. But overall, this book is just run of the mill. Like, to be honest, I'm most interested in to see who is the person laundering money and how they're doing it. The romance is just insta love. It's not really much going on. They're like not cute. Like, they're not cute, but it's just not, the banter isn't all that good. The whole storyline about the three girls is just flat. Like, it's just it's not bad. Like, it's not bad to get through. You see, I'm almost done. It's not hard to get through. It's written perfectly fine. It's just boring. It's not, I wouldn't even say it's boring. It's just fine. Like, boring, I would give it 2 stars, but this is shaping up to just be a 3-star read. It's like a run-of-the-mill romance book. It's giving Jasmine Guillory. It's giving Jasmine Guillory, just like it happened. Anyways, I will finish this book and I will come back with my final thoughts. We are goddamn halfway through the month and I have books to update you on. For this video, I have only read 2 books thus far. Last time you guys saw me, I finished this book. I told you I was going to finish this book and then we were going to move on to the next one. So let me give you my thoughts on this book. I finished this book like a week ago, but I can still give you my thoughts. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars, but do not be fooled. I would not recommend this book to anyone. This book worked for me. Like, it got me through it because there is a storyline in here about like a criminal organization fraud thing that really intrigued me. I wanted to know who at this job was doing the fraud, and I wanted to know how our main character would react when she found out that the love interest was lying to her about his job. So that kept me entertained. I did a video this month about all the things that I like in books, and a thing that I like in books is shystiness. I love when like a love interest does like very sketchy things, very morally corrupt things. I enjoy it, and to see how those characters are able to get through those things. That's why I love cheating. I love lying. It's not a good thing that, like, I don't like those things in real life, but I love them in books. I love when characters get a little muddy, and so I enjoy this. I love it. I don't know, that's a thing I love in books, when the third act problem is kind of already written in because someone is lying or someone has a girlfriend or someone's son. I enjoy that. I don't know. I know most people hate it, but I enjoy it. But that's what kept me in here. But I do want to say, as a romance, this does fail. We are here to read black romances written by black people, and this failed. It wasn't romantic because he was a lying liar who lies, and then it failed on the romance part, but I gave it 3 stars. Like, I get why people don't like this book. Like, I wouldn't recommend it, but it worked for me. It worked for me. So after I did that, I read Make a Scene by Mimi Grace. So this book follows a girl named Retta and a dude named Duncan. So it follows a girl named Retta and a guy named Duncan. And basically, they are neighbors. They're not neighbors in the sense that they live next to each other. They work next to each other. And there has been an issue with a parking spot situation. Like, because the guy Duncan, his gym just got there, they don't want to give him no parking spots. And so Duncan goes over to Retta and it's like, Retta, we need to figure something out. There's a lot going on, and like, we need to figure out what's going on. We need a parking spot. And so Retta has a wedding to attend. She is attending her cousin's wedding. Her cousin is marrying her ex-boyfriend. And so she don't want to show up to the wedding without a man because she don't want people to think like she couldn't find a man since the ex-boyfriend who was getting married. So she's like, Duncan, if you want parking spots, how about you be my fake boyfriend? And so we get this fake dating story. I have pros and I have cons. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. stars. This book is pretty short. This book is barely 200 pages. The pros of this book is this book has so many interesting dating scenes. Like, they do a lot of stuff. They go on vacation together. They go bowling together. They do a lot of different stuff that was so interesting. But because the book is so short, you never really get to get the cute moments that these scenes could bring. And so I feel like a lot of people should read this book when it comes to coming up with scenarios that two couples can get into, or two people who like each other could get into, and build like the tension, build like the romance, because I thought this book did really well. Like, every scene was a good scene. But the problem is the book is so short, we never really get connected to either character. And this book, this is why I hate fake dating relationships with adults. I always feel like y'all might as well just date. It gets to a point where y'all spending the night with each other, you're sleeping with each other, you're talking to each other every day. Just date. Who are y'all fooling? Just date. Like, this is being made more complicated than it should be. There gets to a point where they are full-blown having sex. They're full-blown together every single day. And they're just like, but she doesn't want to be in a relationship with me. I thought the book gave up on the whole fake dating thing, because they were obviously dating for so long. Like, they are full-blown dating at this point. If you are full-blown going on dates that have nothing to do with the fake dating scenario, y'all are going on dates because you like each other, you're going out of town with each other, y'all dating. Like, even if you don't want to put a title on it, what y'all are doing is dating. Y'all not friends. Y'all not friends. And so it got a little ridiculous, but once again, it is so rare to find Black romance books. And so, you know what? I enjoyed this. I really did. So I gave it 3 stars too. So overall, we're starting off pretty aight. We're gonna move on to our next book and I'll tell you how I feel, but we're starting off good. Hello, you guys. I am sitting here watching Sims videos at my computer, so this angle is so unflattering, but it's what you get. And I want to tell you that I started Sweet Hand by Nj Peltier. I believe this is a self-published book. Maybe I am wrong. Published by Nj Pelter. Yeah, it's a self-published book. NJ, did I say NJ? It's Nj Pelter. So Sweet Hen is about 2 people by the name of Charisse and Kieran. Would you pronounce that right? Yeah, Kieran. And basically they are like childhood friends, and something went wrong in their childhood and they no longer are friends anymore. So this is like a enemies to lovers type romance. So basically, Kieran, he is a music industry producer. Charisse, she is a baker. And basically, they often cross paths because they live on this small island and they kind of like intermingle at the same parties because she caters for parties. He's a music producer, so he's at the party. And so basically, Charisse's sister is getting married to one of Kieran's best friends. And basically now she's a maid of honor. He's a groomsman. He's the best man. And they have to like come together and do things together, obviously. And so that's pretty much what you are getting right now. I am at the 100-page mark. And baby, when I tell you getting to that 100-page mark was a slugfest, I am bored. I am bored, and it may not be the book's fault. I'm not gonna get nasty. It may not be the book's fault. I am just not an enemies to lovers type person, especially when the enemies part just seems so stupid. They are enemies for absolutely no reason. Like, every time we get a chapter where they discuss like they don't like each other, it's so unserious. I'm just like, y'all are too damn grown to be caring about the things y'all care about. The things that they keep getting mad at each other about are stupid. It just seems like a lack of communication. So that first 100 pages was a slug, but we seem to be looking up. They're starting to do activities for the wedding, and so that kind of seems a little bit nice. Hopefully it gets a little bit spicier. Hopefully we get into the romance soon, because just getting backstory, I have been bored. Like, we can just cut right to the romance. There's one thing about me when it comes to a romance book, cut to it. Cut to the flick. Well, you know what we're here for, but I'm gonna finish her. I'm gonna finish her in the next couple of days and get back to you. I'm honestly ready to move on to Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry. So I'm trying to get through this rather quickly. So hopefully I can get most of it done today. But yes, we're trudging along. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next clip. Hello, you guys. I have finished Sweet Hand, and I have given this book 2.5 out of 5 stars. For some reason, this year, I am being really picky on romance books. I feel like a year ago, I would have given this book 3 stars and just went on with my life, but when I sit down and read these romance books recently, I've just been annoyed. I've been more picky, and I don't want to be that way. I want to go back to just being okay with just like a run-of-the-mill romance, give it 3 stars and go. But I've just been really picky about romance. I don't think I'm growing out of romance. I still love romance. I'm reading a romance book right now that I am adoring. I just think with reading more romance, I've become pickier about the type of romance that I want to read. And I just don't want to waste days upon days reading romance books that just that are less than good. So Sweet Hand, I am giving 2.5 stars. And there's really only 2 major flaws which bring it down to that. This book is too long. This book is about 360 pages and it could have cut 60. It needed to cut about 2 scenes. It just started dragging on and on. This whole book rests on the idea of a wedding, and we don't get the wedding to the 358 page mark. And so it's just like, what are we doing here? And then we just started adding more elements. And so it just ran on too long. And I think this book could have been good if this book had more banter. The moments I did love about this book, was the banter, was the talking back and forth, were the text messages when we got to see inside this relationship that had been built. But I just feel like there wasn't enough of it. There wasn't enough dialogue between our love interests, and that's what takes it down to a 2.5. But I do want to read more books from this author. It says The Island Bites book 1, so I'm assuming that there's more in this series. So when another book is released, if another book hasn't been released, I don't even know, I will be picking up, because this had a lot of promise. It just didn't quite get there for me. So this being my first book by this author, I am very interested in reading more. This one just didn't hit for me. Anyways, we are going to go into Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry by Joya Goffney. I believe that's their name. And yeah, I'll see you in that clip. Hello, you guys. We are back with another book. I have started Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry. Okay, we're finally getting some good food. I gotta be honest with you guys. Now that we are on our 4th book, truth is I'm tired. Because not only have I been reading books for this video, I've been reading like books in my own time that have nothing to do with this video. And like I've been reading like all books by Black authors, and like it hasn't been fun. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the world of traditionally published popular books by Black authors is a little bit bad. It's a little bit bad. Like I don't know what to tell you. I don't want to sound horrible, but it just is. As someone who has literally read 15 books by Black authors, all of them being relatively popular, maybe 4 were good. And the rest, like, it's either you get a really good book or you get something that is just not worth your time. So I have just been tired. I'm just like, the Black History Month need to end. Like, I hate to say that, but it has been bad. But I am so happy to say this book is starting off as the anomaly. I'm in front of my window, so you're getting a glare. I'm sorry. This book is starting off as the anomaly. It is the outlier. So this book follows a girl named Quinn who goes to a predominantly white high school, and she is a few months from graduating, and basically she has a guy at her school who like is like black, but he's not like an affluent black person like she is. He doesn't come from an affluent background like she does. So she often feels like she doesn't fit in with like many of the black people around her. Well, they are chosen to do a project together. And when they are doing a project together, her black father, Quinn's black father, racially profiles Carter. And he's like, why are you in my house? And the only reason he was in her house was to do a project. And so basically things go bad. And all of a sudden, Carter takes home Quinn's journal. And basically in this journal, Quinn wrote down all of the lies, all of the truths about herself. And in this journal, there is a lot of secrets coming out. Well, Quinn realizes that Carter has her journal and she's like, I need my journal back. And he loses the journal. He's like, I don't know where your journal is. So all of a sudden, all of the secrets from her journal start getting sent to all the kids at her school. And that takes us on this adventure of Carter and Quinn trying to figure out what's going on. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So the first like 20 pages, it almost lost me. It almost got DNF, but then it got great. It got a little bit great. Okay, so this book is kind of talking about the dynamic of black kids who go to white schools and this idea of not being black enough. And I have read a lot of books this month by black authors, and I'm so tired. I hate that narrative. Y'all can drag me in the comments. I hate that narrative. I wasn't black enough for the black kids. I wasn't white enough for the white. I hate that because it's tired. It's like tired. It's played. We've done it. Like, where is the nuance? Where is the nuance where we discuss how black people assimilate into white culture? How a lot of times assimilating into white culture, a superiority complex can be built. An anti-blackness can be built. A lot of these things. How everyone, all black kids are dealing with the same issue of white supremacy, trying to figure out how to navigate white supremacy, and no side is doing it better than the other. No side is right, is fully right. No side is fully wrong. No side is fully a victim. No side is fully is truly the one perpetuating like violence, perpetuating the bullying. Like, no side is 100% correct, right? And what I love about this book is it is talking about it. My favorite thing about this book is, so she does the basic I'm an Oreo speech, which I have gotten this speech in so many books that I have read this Black History Month and I'm tired. But we get the I'm an Oreo speech. And what bothers me about the I'm an Oreo speech is no one adds nuance to it. No one talks about how people really feel when they are described as a black person who is able to assimilate with white culture. And this book finally has the conversation. Quinn's character says how she enjoyed that people kind of thought she was different than other black people. She enjoyed that people often said, it's you, Quinn, and then there's other black people. She enjoyed her proximity to whiteness. She understood that her proximity to whiteness furthered her in her life. It made a lot of her growing up a lot easier. White people trusted her more. And then she also brought up, because another common thing in these books is, I don't hang out with black people because they made fun of me because I didn't fit in with them. And she talks about how it's really bizarre for you to say black people bullied you and that's why you don't hang out with black people. But we can look at whiteness and everything whiteness does to blackness, everything that white people do to blackness, and that never stopped you from continuing to have white friends. So what's the truth? Bullying kept you away from black people, but racism, she talks about how it's not like her white friends are the best white people you ever meet. They racist, like they do microaggressions. They're not the best white people in the world, obviously. And that doesn't stop her from still being friends with the white people. So how can their blatant racism not stop you from being friends with them, but a few black people calling you an Oreo and you want nothing to do with it? I love it. I love it. Nuance. Let's finally have the conversation that I have been wanting to have. And so fully invested. I'm fully invested. And it's not her saying that her feelings are invalid. Like, the people, black kids making fun of her make her, like, that shouldn't matter. Like, but let's have the full conversation. Let's open up the board. Like I said, let's talk about how we can all be victims, and we can also be someone who perpetuates anti-blackness. Like, it doesn't all have to exist separately. All of these ideas, like, you shouldn't have been bullied, but also you thought you was better than the other black kids. There's another thing. So she didn't get into the college of her dreams. And so she has to go to another college, a college that a lot of black people go to. And she's at the school visit to this college, and she thinks she's better than these black kids. She's like, I'm not nothing like y'all. Like, I'm sorry. I was one of the good black people. And I love how that conversation is being had. And I love when you have a character like Carter, who did not come from with a silver spoon in his mouth. He's discussing how he goes through his own plights. Like, while you're sitting here acting like you're the victim of the world, I have my own shit. So while you're saying we're calling you an Oreo and we hate you and da-da-da-da, girl, nobody is really thinking about you that deeply. Like, the same stuff you're going through, we're going through too. Like, it's all the same. We're all kids, and we're trying to figure out white supremacy. We're trying to figure out how to do all this. This book is a bit excellent. It's a bit excellent. The romance is hitting for me. This is YA at its best. This is YA at its best. I will come back with final thoughts. Yeah, I'll come back with final thoughts. Okay, so I have officially finished Excuse Me Why I Ugly Cry by Joya Goffney. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. I know I did. I am giving this book 5 out of 5 stars. There was never a dull moment. There was never a lull. I fully enjoyed this book all the way through. Earlier in the video, the last clip, I was talking about how a lot of the black books that I read this month really didn't hit for me. But what I will say is I feel like that's more on the adult side than it was on the young adult. The young adult side of black fiction, I feel like, is pretty strong. The books I gave the highest ratings to this month were young adult, and this one is no different. I'm not going to spoil anything. Anything I would say about this book after the fact would spoil the book, but I absolutely adored this book. This book will show up in my best of, because I've noticed that I've given books 5 stars this month, but I don't know if I necessarily just like love them. Like, you can give a book 5 stars, think it did everything well, it worked for you, and you not be passionate about the book. This may be the first 1 or 2 or 3 books I read this month that I'm passionate about. Like, I enjoyed this book through and through. Every part of this work, the romance, the plot, the story, the message, the themes, it all worked for me. So this is the best read we're probably going to have this entire video, but we are going to move into the next book. I'm going to start this tonight before I go to bed. It's dark outside, you guys. It is legit dark. I'm going to take a shower, and I am going to start Charming as a Verb by Felipe. It's a pretty quick one. We're barely hitting 300 pages on this one. It's about 330 pages, so it's a quick one. I always say, ooh, I can read it in a couple days, or I could do like, I'm up in the air with my like reading. Sometimes books that are barely 300 pages, it takes me a whole 2 weeks to read. It's just according to where everything is in my reading schedule. I read a lot of books at one time, so sometimes books fall at random times and I forget they even exist. This might be the last book we read for this video. I am not gonna lie. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get to the Keanu Reeves book. I hope I am, but I just don't know. If I'm able to I don't know if I'll be able to finish it. I'll have to finish it in like a day or two. And I don't think I'm in the mood to just do sprint after sprint. Maybe someone on BookTube is doing some reading sprints. I can join and we might get into that. But this book I will finish. I know I can finish this book. And yeah, see you in the next clip. Okay, so we are starting, excuse me while I ugly cry. No, we are starting Charming as a Verb by Felipe. I am about I'm at the 50 page, or I'm at the 50 page mark on chapter 6, but like I've officially gotten the plot, like how this is going. So we are following two young adults. Basically, they both go to the same like upper echelon school in New York City. They are all Ivy League bound, two black kids, both Ivy League bound. And we are following actually the hero in this story, which I'm really, really enjoying. And so he is this charming, suave little boy. Everyone loves him. Everyone at the school loves him. He is just that guy. But he has a mission, and his mission is to go to Columbia University. He is trying to make money to go to Columbia University. So he started this fraudulent dog walking business. The business isn't necessarily fraudulent. He actually walks the dogs, but no one knows that he owns this dog walking business, and he's not this big enterprise. So basically, he kind of swindles people out of their money by walking their dogs, and that's how he makes his living. Well, he decides that he is going to walk the dog of this girl in his class, and they live in the same building. So he says, I'm going to walk a dog, even though this girl does not like me. We get scenes of them at school, and like, it's not that she don't like him. She's just kind of focused on her own life. So his little charming ways don't really get her. So he decides that he is going to walk her dog. So she doesn't know that he's going to be the dog walker until he comes in for an interview, and she realized that's going to be the dog walker. So she tries to convince her mom, like, this boy should not walk our dog. He is just a kid, like, da-da-da. The mama don't want to hear it. She like, let this boy make his money. Well, so basically everything goes on, and our heroine, she gets a bad recommendation from one of her teachers for Princeton. She gets a bad letter of recommendation, and the reason why is because basically she doesn't really have any extracurriculars. She's not very outgoing, and that's what the teacher says about her. So she's like, I need to become outgoing. I need to become someone who's on the scene. So she does a little sleuthing, and she finds out that our hero in the book, his dog walking business is a fraud. And she's like, okay, if you don't want me to tell my mom that your business is a fraud, and so she won't tell everyone in New York City, you need to help me become cool just like you so that I can get into Princeton. And that's where our book kind of is taking this route. I am loving the hell out of this. I have read so many bad black books this month, so many bad books about black people this month. And I think a book about black people at its best still covers the issues and the plights of black people. I'm not one of those no trauma people, know nothing, but they do it in a way to still make the book enjoyable, to still tell a narrative. And that is the books that have been best this month. A book, not saying that the book doesn't take itself too seriously, but the book doesn't take itself too seriously. It still tries to make an enjoyable book for black people, and this book is falling in that lane. It's still talking about all the different ways that blackness works and all of this stuff, and being a black person, trying to be in the affluent part of society and all those things, but it's still a fun book. This book is shaped, it's giving me the same feelings, excuse me, while I ugly cry. It's giving me, I don't know what it is about YA, but black YA is a little bit iconic. The books that I'm giving the highest ratings to of my black history reading is YA. So I don't know. This book is going to be 4 or 5 stars. It's just not going to. It's just cute. It's just cute. Where are my cute black reads? I don't know. This is it. This is just very, very cute. And it's really, like, it's so quick. It's so easy to read. Like, this is just very cute. I'll come back with my final thoughts. They're probably going to be positive. I am very much so enjoying this book. But I'll see you, and then we'll wrap up the video. This is the last book we're going to read. We are not going to get to the Keanu Reeves book. I don't got time. So this will be the last book of this video, but we'll wrap up the video then. We are done with this video. I have completed Charming as a Verb by Felipe. I am giving this book 5 out of 5 stars. And dare I say, I won't say much, but dare I say, this might go in my my long list of favorite books I've ever read. It might go on the long list. Like, I don't know if it'll make the short list, but it'll definitely go on the long list. I adored this book. This book is everything you wish for in black romance. It's everything you wish for in black fiction. I am not a young young adult romance girl. I am not a young adult fiction girl, but this just worked for me. It was just so damn cute. It was just so damn cute. And at the end of the day, cuteness is all I asked for in my romance. I loved it. I love both of these characters. I just feel like we don't get a lot of black characters like both of these characters who don't beat you over the head with their like identity. Not like their black identity, but their personality. Like you got a quirky and a suave character, but it didn't beat you over the head with it. It was just good. It was just good. So we're done with this video. This was a successful video. Out of all my reading vlogs, this may be the most successful. We got 2 5-star books. We got 2 5-star books. I cannot believe we got 2 5-star young adults. But if I did do like a 5-star prediction list, both of these books would have been on my 5-star predictions. And we got 2 5 stars, adored them, great. And then we read two other romance books. I'm gonna just round this up to a 3 and keep this at a 3. We got 2 3-star, I think non-traditionally published. I don't think these are traditionally published. Good for us. I will be reading books from both of these authors in the future, and to me that is a success. So I guess we'll go through this and we'll discuss, will I be reading books from these authors in the future? That's going to be the end goal of all my reading vlogs. Will I read more books by these authors in the end? So let's start off with Ben Felipe. I am already looking up what else Ben Felipe has written. I am going to read every Ben Felipe book that comes out. It's a shoo-in. When it comes to Joya Goffney, I will be reading everything that they put out. I will be searching for everything that they have put out. It's a yes, automatic buy. When it comes to Mimi Grace has just announced a new book that they are going to be releasing, and I will be picking it up. I enjoyed this book enough to where I want to read more. I think they're just going to get better with time, so I will be picking up books from them. When it comes to Nj Pelter, I will be picking up more things from them, even though this was not my favorite book in the world. I believe there was so much potential in this book, and just with more time of writing, they can get crisper, they can get cleaner, and would love it. Would love to read more. When it comes to Farah, I don't know. Farah. Maybe Farah goes on the maybe list. I have the next book in this series, and I will be reading the next book in this series. I might read it next month. I don't know. But it's not a go-ahead buy. I would have to see what the premise of the book is. Like, if they wrote an interracial romance, I'm not going to pick it up. Like, there's just stipulation. I'll pick up everything these other authors write, but there's going to be stipulations to this one. There's going to be stipulations to this author. I got to see what it's about before I pick it up. Anyways, that's the end of this video. I believe that this video was a successful video. We read 5 books. I wanted to get to 6, but I always do that. I always aim high and hit low. So you know what? There it is. I'm okay with reading 5 books. I will see you guys at the end of next month for another reading log. I think it's one you guys are going to look forward to. I think it's one you guys are going to like. Anyways, see you next time.